Hang on, Whooptie.
I should be alright for the moment. I'm not gonna stick with this turn fight. He's bleeding his speed. I have 4 minutes of fuel. I want to get the fuck on the ground. Anyways, so I got 2. Oh, that was beautiful.
Alright guys, welcome back to Whooptie's View, where I try to take some of my dog fights and explain them out for you, try and help you get a little bit better. Woody77, you've been asking for some P47 footage for a while, and I promised you I would. So here's a little bit more. This is the P47D, otherwise known as the Hitler Bolt from Germany. I went ahead and stayed low just for you in this scenario. I didn't climb above 4K. As you can see, I've already got people behind me. So this P63 has been tailing me for a little bit. I'm going into a dive. I'm trying not to gain too much speed because I want this guy to overshoot me. So, speed worked against him and managed to pull back into him and get a shot. At this point, I'm going to stick with him. Stay tight. My main goal is to try and maintain as much speed as I can right now. But I know if push comes to shove, I can fight this guy now that I'm behind him. But I take a look behind me and I see there's more guys coming. So it's time to extend. So I know if this guy makes another turn back towards me right now, I am not going to follow him. We go ahead and we miss the shot, so I drop my nose a little bit more, keep it up above 500 kilometers an hour, and I am going to extend. So now, I've got a couple more guys coming, and I've got a P47 which I just left by himself, but I got a 190 high. I'm hoping he can do something. There's another 109 up there. Let's see what they can do. So I'm just extending because I see that P51 as being the biggest threat, and Monkey Business in the distance there, he's a possible future threat. But all these guys just dove to the deck because they didn't see a chance of getting to me, and they're like moths to the light. So one guy in the deck, everybody dives on him. It's in my favor. Let's do it. Didn't really notice right off the bat there was a VB10 or whatever the hell those things are shooting at me, but managed to dodge his shot. Try and take a couple shots. P51 here, pull off. I'm not going to turn with him. I do not want to get too engaged. I do not want to lose my speed. Drop my nose, keep it up. I see 2 guys low. We're going to go ahead and go after them. Get my original target. He is now gone. I just extend, and I'm going to go ahead and convert the speed back into altitude, because if I turn too much, I'm going to lose that speed. The VB10 is not going to be able to keep up with me. P51's too concerned to try and get in the other guy. We go ahead and pull up a little bit, convert it at altitude, and as we come back around, we'll turn it back into airspeed. As you can see, things panned out pretty well in this situation. This is the very first match I played after you actually called me out. So P51's now toast, and the Spitfire is very slow and very easy kill. Teammate misses him. Mine's a little bit off, but we do get him. And that's all she wrote. I mean, that wasn't too hard. Thankfully, I had a little bit of a team to help me out, but even without him, I think I probably could have done it. So here we are moving on to another match. This is with the P47N. And honestly, this plane definitely suffered when it lost the air spawn, guys. I mean, I actually have issues getting up to altitude and time without being super passive. And unfortunately, if you get passive and you spend all your time climbing, your team's going to be dead by the time you get there. So you really can't play that game. So coming into this, they're just surveying the scenario at this point. I see 2 of my teammates up high. One's definitely in a P47M because he is way higher than I am. And then we got Sen first in the F4U4B, which is a great plane on its own. Unfortunately, we are outnumbered. Well, we were. Now we're not. The only real threat that I see right now is that TAW 152. I know I do not want to get involved with that guy without a lot of speed. And unfortunately, that thing, like I say, at my speeds, it can easily outturn me. So I see him. I figure I'm going to try and take a couple of head-ons real quick. Got a hit. These M250 cals, they don't do much. But I know right now that I'm not going to be able to outturn this guy if I get into a fight. So it's time to dive out and grab a little bit of speed. He's catching me fairly quick, so I drop my nose just a little bit more. And we slowly start pulling away from him. And I'm leveling out because if I go into a dive right now, he can go the same speed I can. But straight and level, I'm going to be able to maintain speed a little bit better than he can. So I'm not doing a full dive. Just trying to maintain my 600-ish right now that I have. and eventually he's going to give up, and he's going to turn back around. Because that P-51's coming in the distance. So, I'm just going to extend a little bit, and like I say, we're just going to play this out. My teammates seem to be doing alright up high, so they don't need me too bad. Send first right now, unfortunately, is getting chased off by another 109, so I'd like to be able to get up and help him, but I'd also like to see the Sea Fury do something, so unfortunately he calls him out, and he finally does something for us, so that little bit of help is all we needed. So I'm on my way over, and I see very quickly that they're winning that fight, so that guy's really not much of a threat. I'm hoping that they don't follow him all the way to the deck. So I break off, and I start working on these other two guys that are co-altitude with me over here. One's that TOB 152H that I'm worried about. So I spot him, and I look a little bit behind him, and we're going to see that other guy's coming right behind him. So TOB 152 doesn't have an amazing roll rate. I'm using my 4,000 rounds of ammo that I have to kind of scare him out of the head on, and then get aggressive real quick. And that is exactly what I needed right there. This worked out very well. So now I can fight the 109K4 without too much worry of the TOB 152 coming back. So he's got a lot of speed. I don't have a lot. Isn't really hard to turn inside him at that point. But he can easily energy fight me right now. And this is where I have to make a really bold decision. Either I can dive to the deck and get away from this, or I can follow him vertical. Realize real quick I'm not going to catch him in a vertical. So I drop my nose just a little bit. I don't want to put myself into a stall. So he drops his nose back down. Because he is slow, he cannot turn that sharp into a dive. So I turn towards him, trying to lift my nose a little bit, and that's all I needed to stay out of his guns. So now I can pull right in behind him again. And then here we go with another JU-288. I hate this. I hate this, guys. But I am just going to ignore him, because I really don't think that thing's much of a threat. So, being nice and slow, I play that game. I can stay inside his turn all day long, because he's going fast. He will make a lot wider turn than I do. Stupid JU-288. Go away. But at this point, because I can't keep track of both of these guys very efficiently, I will go ahead and just dive out a little bit. I take a look, and there comes Sen first, and he's more incapable of helping me out. So, I just extend a little bit. JU-288's not a huge threat. Here comes the K4 again. Throw him into a dive so he compresses and goes around me. I'm going nice and slow. We get another overshoot and hits. Take a glance behind me. I see the JU-288 setting up for another pass, so I decide not to go vertical at this point and just extend, try and keep my speed. And that is going to be the hardest thing you will ever face with P-47s, is actually maintaining that speed, because once you lose it, it is incredibly hard to get it back, even in a dive. Go away, JU-288. Please. But hey, look, Sen first went ahead and finished off the K4 for me. This is a good exercise in teamwork there between him and me in this match. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get up and help him early, which is a downside. And like I say, this plane losing an air spawn, it really, unfortunately, hurt it quite a bit. So, it is what it is. I don't try to climb too hard anymore. If you do get the opportunity to climb, though, this thing is an amazing high-altitude fighter. The only thing better than it is the P-47M, which we'll go over in a little bit. It's supposed to have the same power, but I don't know why it doesn't feel like it. It's actually a pretty good turn fighter, though, when you get up speed. But I'm not going to bore you with the rest of that match. It was mostly just chasing bombers. So moving on to the next match with the P-47M. This is the premium, and this is by far the best P-47M. This thing has a lot of power, and I definitely love flying this plane. It also has a dive brake if you want to use it. I don't use it too often, but it becomes handy. So first target's to side 185, and I thought about it after I did it. It's not a really smart idea to make one of these guys hang, because those things have a lot of power too. But thankfully I still got a little bit more, and the stall characteristics of the P-47 is just amazing. So I say I'm starting to pull away from him, so flip the landing flaps down and drop back down on top of him. About this time I'm noticing the radar's getting kind of busy around me, so I know there's people coming. There they are. Alright, it's time to drop out, so we'll kill this guy. Throw a couple shots. Never hurts to spray because you got so much freaking ammo. Look behind me, I've got an LA-9 and I've got a Yak-9 coming at me. And it's not a very fun situation. I could probably handle one of these guys, but I cannot handle both at the same time. Yak-9s are very powerful at this altitude, and so is the LA-9. So I just extend a little bit, try and at least bore one of them. Maybe they'll go away. At least that's the hope. And it looks like one of them is starting to pull off, so that's my chance. Now I can fight the Yak-9, and I figured this is going to be a Yak-9P, but it ended up being a Yak-9 UT, and this is a very, very dangerous aircraft to fight against, and I didn't think I was going to win this once I realized what it was. But here he comes, so I pull up into him, try and close the gap so he can't get a shot, roll the wings perpendicular so he can't get a broadside, and now we're sticking with him. Now he definitely has more power, more speed than me right now, so I'm going to play it smart. I'm going to keep my plane level so I can actually accelerate a little bit. And he makes a pretty poor decision to turn him back towards me, unfortunately. Managed to get a couple hits on him, but that thing is a very good turning aircraft, and it has lots of power at this altitude, so we're going to stick with him. And this is where it becomes almost a stalemate, because at this speed, we're about evenly matched, and he actually outturns me just a little bit at this speed. Get a couple more shots on him and he dives out into the turn, and still just a little bit ahead of my guns. And so I know this is going to be a tough fight. So I'm sitting here in my head, I'm trying to think about how I'm going to finish this guy off, and it's being in a stalemate like this, usually I would go up, get slow, and then drop back down on top of him. But against this aircraft and with how much speed I have right now, I don't think it's a great idea. So I'm going to stick with him for the moment. Try to abuse the landing flaps a little bit, try and get inside his turn. We get a little bit closer. I try to stay ahead of this dive. Pretty close, almost there, but now I'm getting even closer. I can stick with my zoom. I can see every little move he makes. I can stay ahead of his turn. So now I get a little bit slower, and this is where it really paid off. The slower I got, the more I was able to open the gap between him and I and get my guns a little bit closer. And so here it was. I'm only doing 250 now, and I can actually outturn him. Game, set, match. That was a fun little fight. I don't really think my wingman, the F8F, did a whole hell of a lot, but he was there. I kind of forgot he was there for a bit. Alright guys, well, I hope you learned a little something about the P-47s today. I think I went through every one of them. The Hitler Bolt's no different than the P-47Ds that are in the American tree. It's the same plane. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. As always, I try to answer all of your questions for you as best I can. Lastly, we're going back to the Val Tour. It's still my favorite plane. This is just a quick lesson and something you don't do, and I figured this one out the hard way because it's happened more than once, but this time it finally got me. Don't chase another Val Tour to the base. And by the base I mean, like, you know, the base that they bomb, the little ox fields or whatever. I lob one missile off. I don't expect it to hit because it's being chacked towards the sun, but as he starts getting a little bit lower, I throw another missile at him. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the footage, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. See you around, guys.